Hello, I'm Richard Winfield and I'm the author of the New Director's Handbook and also, in fact, the AIM Director's Handbook, which is a special edition designed for companies that are considering whether or not to go for AIM flotation. Anyway, I have a question here from Ghana, from a company secretary trainee, and there are three parts to the question really. The first one is to do with challenge and frustration. It says, my big frustration is not being able to receive reports early enough prior to board meetings. Well, this is a really important one, and I'm sure this person is not alone. So if you're in a similar situation, this is probably relevant to you. So the first thing just to accept is, as a director, you take on a lot of responsibility and a certain amount of risk. And you do have a right to proper information, and that means information that you can understand and information which is delivered on time, in time, for you to be able to analyse it properly before the board meeting. So you have a right to it. So that's the first thing. The second part of the question is frustration is inadequate knowledge on compliance and regulatory issues. And that is related because when you are first appointed as a director, you have a right to a proper induction programme, and a proper induction programme will help you to understand how the board works, how the company works, what the company is all about. But it should also definitely cover roles and responsibilities of directors and compliance and regulatory issues. So if you haven't had that, then you really should go to the chairman and make sure that you're able to have it. So both those things really come back to dealing with the chairman and just explaining that if you are to be on the board, and presumably if you have the right to resign if you don't have the right situations, then you do need the proper support, and that means information, training and professional advice. So you are in a responsible position, and it's not enough just to put up with what you get. You do have the right to demand proper treatment. Now the third part is a question here is, how do you coordinate a board meeting in instances where the chairman seems distracted or unable to steer affairs in the boardroom? Well, this does imply that there is a problem in this organisation at the chairmanship level, and it is something that needs to be addressed. So what I would suggest firstly is that you have a chat, possibly one-on-one, with some of the other directors to ensure that they share the same sort of concerns, and to explain to them that really it isn't good enough. And then there are two things I would suggest. In most of my answers to questions, I keep coming back to the importance of having a decent, properly designed agenda. So that's one of the things to deal with, and maybe to talk to the company secretary, or maybe to raise it when you have your meeting with the chairman. And the other half of it is to say that the agenda needs to be followed and stuck to. And I have a very good question that I use in my coaching, and it goes something like this. And I would suggest that you maybe discuss with the other directors, and you have the courage to say that when things get out of hand or go off course, you stick your hand up and say, excuse me, how is this relevant to what we're supposed to be discussing? I don't understand where this conversation is going, or I don't really understand how what we're discussing will contribute to making the decision or whatever it is that is on the agenda at this time. So it takes a little bit of courage, but the fact is you have a responsible job as a director, and you have rights as a director, and after all, when the worst comes to the worst, you can always threaten to leave. So proper training, good processes, the support of your colleagues, and a face-to-face honest discussion with your chairman, I think those would be useful. And also, of course, you will find most of the information that you need will be found in my handbook, and you will find on the next slide details of how you can get hold of it, either to buy the book or to obtain the first 3 chapters free downloaded over the internet. So thank you very much.